Hey friends, it's Daniel, and today I wanted to share with you how I cast a basic circle, or what I actually call the rings of light. Um, so a circle for me is simply a way, when I cast a circle, or whatever you want to call that, is a way of me shifting my consciousness from the mundane world to the magical or the spiritual world. It's a way of blocking out my everyday life and moving into that sense of sacred, that sense of magical, that place of intention. And so that's the only reason why I really cast a circle. In other traditions, they cast a circle to create sacred space. I think all space is sacred. So when I'm casting a circle, I'm simply acknowledging that all space is sacred. Some people use it for protection, and that's fine. But I don't necessarily, I'm not trying to protect myself from evil spirits or anything like that. I'm protecting myself from outside intentions. And other people will use a spear of energy because they're trying to raise energy in that spear, and then they send that energy out. That's not really how I work anymore. So for me, the circle is simply a way of moving beyond the mundane and into the spiritual. When I'm outdoors, 90% of the time, I simply use a staff and I simply walk the space clockwise for most workings with the sun. Um, and I simply walk it with my staff. And I might say something really simple like, "Hallowed be the circle round, a place of love and light, or a place of strength and honor." You know, the wording is going to, if you're doing a love spell, you're going to call on love and light. If you're doing a protection spell, you're going to call upon protection. If you're doing a prosperity spell, you're going to call in all these energies, and you're just walking. I just walk the place normally 3 times, and I visualize 3 rings of golden light around me. The first one is the outer ring of the whole big area. The second one's more kind of like around the altar, and then the third circle is literally the altar itself, which I normally place in the center. So it kind of like the closer, so it just kind of helps me focus and move. Now when I'm indoors, I normally use, sometimes I'll use my wand. I've been known to use a feather, so this is a green dyed feather, and sometimes I'll use incense or a sage stick. It's just me trying to clear myself out. I'm just trying to clear out anything. Maybe I've had a bad day at work, or I've had an argument with my spouse, but I need to kind of move that out of my mind and focus on what I'm doing. I'm just centering myself, I'm grounding myself with the earth, and then I'm getting ready for work. Many times I don't do a whole lot of ritual anymore because I don't need to, because I have a ritual room indoors, and outdoors I have a small shrine. So a lot of the big ritual circle castings I've done in the past, I don't need anymore, because now just walking in that area, my consciousness begins to shift, so I don't need it. Now, when I first moved into this house, I often did a lot more fancy rituals where I would do all kinds of pre-work cleansing and just getting myself, because it took me a lot longer to get my sense shifting of consciousness in. But as I began to work in this new way, I didn't need as much ritual work because my consciousness, it was shifted easier. I don't need a lot of tools. Although I do sometimes break those out, but then mostly just because I enjoy ritual. But I don't always have time for it. So, and really all the tools that you use are really just to help you shift your consciousness, in my opinion. So as you grow as a witch, in my opinion, you don't need as many tools. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use them. I like to I like to have big elaborate rituals sometimes because they help reinforce that idea of the shifting of consciousness. Um, so, but when I need it the most, like sometimes I don't have time, I can just quickly shift into that space of consciousness, cast that circle. And I don't do a whole lot of release work. Like in my days of the Wiccan, I would always have to release all that energy. Normally, I just simply walk the space counterclockwise, or sometimes I just stand in the center and say, "This ritual is done. Go in peace." You know, I don't worry about breaking the magic circle. I mean, I walk in and out of it because, again, I'm not creating sacred space because all space is sacred. I'm not trying to build a bubble around me where I'm raising energy in because I use other ways of working magic. Um, I'm not trying to protect myself from evil spirits. or anything like that. Now, I have different procedures if I need to do that, and some of them are more traditional Wiccan type circle castings I've found useful, but my basic witchy stuff nowadays is simple. Sometimes I include divinity, God, Goddess, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, whatever you, Jesus, Goddess, whatever you higher power is. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes my magic is more of a secular thing. Sometimes I'm just working with the idea of the sacred, and I don't necessarily personify it with a deity. So I relate to Jesus and the goddess Sophia the most. So them are the deities I work with the most. And a lot of times I don't even use the names, I just say the sacred. And that works for me. Other times I work with a more like Trinitarian. Like I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Lady Holy Spirit. And again, other times I have worked in the past with pagan deities and stuff like that. People, energies and forces that I consider all part of source energy that work for me. So it's going to be different for you. But again, that's how I would cast a simple circle. Many blessings, my friend.